Jessie Aparte. Jessie was also the director of photography for a short film. She was the woman behind the camera, making us all look good. Jessie is a multi-passionate, creative, dedicated to helping artists find and share their authentic voices through storytelling and film. Please help me welcome Jessie.
Thank you all for coming today. It really means a lot for you to guys support artists like this. Okay. Hello, my name is Jessie. I am a multi-passionate artist, and it's kind of hard for me to label myself as one thing. I never really found myself in one creative media. So I am a painter, I'm a baker, filmmaker, photographer, storyteller, creative and entrepreneur guide. I love helping creatives with their brand development and finding their authenticity through their art and how to express that to the world and to people intentionally. And yeah, so I found my voice through all these forms. And however, this mindset, this creative freedom, and this life wasn't really innate state of being for me. I had to go through a lot of self-discovery and healing through the formula that we all kind of grew up with. You find one job, you find one career, you go to school for it, you get a job, and then you find a partner, you have kids, then you're successful. That I lived kind of with that formula all my life. And so I grew up believing that was a formula to follow. And so I studied fine art and animation. I really wanted to be a Disney animator. I had a very ever-changing environment and unpredictable childhood, and I found a lot of safety within art. So I really wanted to get into animation and Disney, and once I started getting close to that degree and that moment of change to work for Disney, I just felt it was very limiting. It felt like I didn't really want to dedicate or devote my life at that moment for someone else's story, or to be another cog, in a system like Disney, huge corporation. So I wanted to explore more other media and to understand why no single art form felt exciting enough to fully expand or explore. So here is my animation art. This is macarons. You can eat this, by the way. So I did macaron art for a business during COVID, and I did a lot of different themes and mediums. But yeah, I really wanted to go in deeper to figure out why I couldn't find that one true thing, or I felt as if there was just something that I was chasing while running from something else. So I want more time to understand my own story, and yeah, this is my call to adventure within. So this is called the Inner Odyssey, the journey of self-discovery and what it looked like for me to find my true self and find my authentic voice. So what is the true self? And to me, I think the true self is who you are naturally, without the influence of upbringing, tough experiences, and other people, or seeking others' approval. And finding your true self involves developing something called presence, and a state of living in the moment where self-love and independence, you're reconnecting with the real you that's free from outside influences. And why was it important for me to find? I think for me to understand my emotions and nervous system, to help me see how I form connections and attachment to people, things, and goals, to recognize what I need to let go of, like seeking approval or feeling valued by others. By letting go, I really wanted to become more independent, live with intention and form genuine relationship with others. So this is kind of like a very rough map to what self-awareness, the journey of self-awareness looks like. So we have the comfort zone. This is like your present self. And oh, thank you, whoever's doing the, oh, nice, thank you. Comfort zone. And so then you go from there to like signals of discomfort. And this can look like burnt out. This can look like frustration. This can feel like a block in your life. It can be depression. It can be just a very, very like distance inside yourself. And so from there, you build this awareness of this discomfort, and hopefully you find the journey to be curious and analyze, like, why are you feeling this way? And from there, you build that connection, gotta breathe, with your inner self. And then from there, you go through this crossing of threshold, and this is something that I will talk about later, but it's a point of your journey where it feels like in a hero's journey, there's always like this peak of just conflict. You know, it gets harder, and it becomes a little bit more turbulent because you're more self-aware of yourself. And so after that, you'll obviously need rest, you know, and recovery and healing from that. And this can take as many, however long that you may need, because everyone's different. And from there, you build that autonomy within yourself. And then it's a lifelong practice, but you get that integration of your true self. So how do we start? So the only tools you really need is your journal. That was my favorite tool, or any writing tool, any digital. You could use your phone, or computer. A support system, a really trusted support system, a safe space. And it can be a professional, because you should not do this journey alone. And if needed, an internet for guidance, you know, for research. So this is kind of like the map of the layers of self-awareness I had to go through. And so here we have the external self. Thank you. We have the external self, and this is where, this is how we project outwardly, presently. And so through going down deeper, I had to go through presence through the senses. So figuring out how to slow down with breath, and whether it's through your daily activities, you find the awareness within the 5 senses. Like, let's say you're brushing your teeth, and you feel those bristles, and you feel like the water on your skin in the shower. So that's kind of like a toe dip into awareness. And then you have awareness of dreams. This is where you practice like recording your dreams. You don't have to analyze it. And then from there, record your emotions, your emotional states. Your curiosity builds, questions form, conversations naturally build within yourself as you're doing this, the deeper you go. And you just become more comfortable with expressing yourself. So this is one of the exercises I would do in journaling, where we're understanding like the emotional landscape. You know, like, what am I feeling? So I'm sad. And you ask yourself, like, when did this start? When did this feeling start to happen? And then you ask yourself, what or who triggered this? You know, and then you figure out your pattern recognition, like, do I remember the last time I felt this? And so you kind of go through like an exercise like this, and you start exploring your emotions, because emotions are energy in motion, and they're telling you what you need. So you understand what they truly mean, and over time you learn about your nervous system, how it's wired, and how to honor and regulate your feelings. So the Nadir is kind of like that threshold I was talking about. So this term refers to the lowest point of a journey, where it involves a lot of like physical and personal and emotional feelings, because you're really being aware of like your insecurities, your doubts, your fears, and your traumas, your attachment styles, which is kind of like your emotional bonds, how you develop your emotional bonds with people and how you relate to life, developed by your parenting style. So yeah, and then you might feel overwhelmed, because like, there's gonna feel like there's a lot of voices of like your inner child, your inner teen, and you have to kind of be patient and sit with them and understand them and not fight them away. So I encourage you to find your Sam if you know Lord of the Rings, because you really, really need someone that helps you feel encouraged to go on to your journey. Like, it helps you remember like who you really are and how much you've grown. Like, find your Sam, find your support system and your safe space. So rest and healing is another thing I want to encourage you to do. Like, find your creative rest, your emotional rest, physical, mental, social, and spiritual. I can't go through this right now because I have 8 minutes, but I really encourage you to find what those different types of rest are for you. And then remember that growth is not linear. it's not linear. There's no clear destination of like what it looks like inside your ecosystem or your internal world. Like it may feel like you're going backwards, but honestly it's an ascending spiral. You know, like you're always growing, you're always learning about how to understand yourself and how to grow. So yeah, just keep that perspective in mind. And there is absolutely no rush. This is a lifelong journey. So the importance of this journey is really understanding how can we understand our inner world. It's our own ecosystem, right? So how can we expect anyone else to take responsibility for how it operates? So how often do you let someone or someone else govern how you feel, how to make decisions or shape your identity? Consider the purpose of each connection in your life. Is each relationship intentional and aligned with your values? Are you giving up being true to yourself to get approval, love, or a sense of belonging? And without autonomy and authenticity within the self, how can you fully express without fear or rejection or self-abandonment? And so this is kind of like the map that I have of like how the self connects to my world. You know, there's relationships, career, belongings, physical health, well-being, and creative expression. So this is a gift and return on my journey. Like I'm still on this journey. It's a lifelong one. I used to think I had to stick to just one path to find success. But I discovered that my true self emerges through all these different types of mediums. And I not only found my inner voice, but I've also just learned to trust myself and to follow what truly resonates with me. And now I'm very passionate to meet other humans and creatives and help them find that authentic self and inner safety. Because I know how it feels to live with self-doubt and the need for external approval. And I want to support others in moving beyond that. And so this is a lifelong journey, as I said, but it's coming back home to yourself. And thank you guys for sitting through that. It's a lot to get absorbed, so I really appreciate you guys.
Thank you so much, Jessie. We're actually going to open the floor to any questions that any of you have for Jessie. Don't be bashful. Yes.
Adrian.
Beautiful presentation. I just wanted to ask, is there going to be any opportunity to refer again to these slides? I'm sure like a lot of people, we didn't bring a notebook, so we couldn't take notes.
Yes, thank you so much. I am actually recording this whole talk and I'll be saving this, and you can follow me on at Crystal Studios on Instagram, and I really have a goal to create a platform for myself where I can speak this and help other people. I mean, I don't even have a website, so that's something that's on the list. But Crystal Studios on Instagram, I encourage myself to kind of like talk more about this and show who I am and show what I've learned and how I help these creatives. So this is kind of like my first event to really doing that first step of showing this and showing my world and showing how I help others. Thank you. That's a good question.
Any other questions? Oh, yes, we do have one.
I don't have that question. I just want to thank you for your sharing your journey with us, because sometimes listening to somebody else's journey, something clicks. I took a picture of every note that was up there. So I just want to thank you.
I thank you.
Beautiful, beautiful presentation.
Thank you.
All right, y'all, let's give it up for Jessie one more time.